Well, it looks like 7:30 to me, so we're going to get started. We have a big agenda tonight, and the board is going to start by approving the minutes of the last meeting, which was April 15th. Has everyone had a chance to take a look at them? They look fine to me. Anybody have any problems with wording or?
They're fine.
Okay, who wants to make a motion?
So moved to accept.
Okay, it's been seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So let's get right into it. New business, we have some new applications. The first one on the agenda is Mr. Richard, is it Barone or Baroni?
Barone.
Barone, yeah. If you'd like to just address the board and tell us in your own words what you're trying to do.
Okay.
We'll assess the documentation, make sure that we have everything we need to proceed to a public hearing.
Okay, sounds good. We're looking to put a one-story addition onto the existing structure. We're not going to, I think we met all the setbacks. The only things were the intention are the existing structure, which doesn't meet the setbacks.
Well, the application says that you need a front yard setback variance from 50 to 40 feet.
Right. The porch is there already at 40 feet.
Oh, I see. So it's an existing porch.
It's an existing porch. We are going to add on to the porch, but it's actually a foot back of the existing porch. So I guess that would be the variance that's required for the front setback.
I see. So the new building's going to be attached to the existing structure.
Right.
The new building is within the setback,
Yes.
but it's the existing.
Correct.
I gotcha.
That's the
Okay.
And then the only other thing, as I look at the denial letter, and then I'm looking here on the items, there's 3 items here for variance, but my denial letter had one more where it was the bulk area variance, where
Yes.
it says you can't be more than 10% of the structure. It's number 4 in my letter.
And you cover 19%.
Yeah, it's at 19%. I wasn't sure how I did the calculation, but I recalculated and I was around 15, 16% anyway, so it's over, so we would meet that variance.
Okay.
So that's my understanding.
All right.
And we're gonna, keep it in keeping with the town of Rhinebeck and make it look real nice.
Well, you have the required maps.
Yes.
The ZEO has noted what laws we have to take a look at. Does the board have any questions? What do you think? Does it look complete? All right, do I hear a motion to accept?
So moved.
I'll second it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Yeah, Scott.
That's in there,
C12?
Okay. So it's 617.5C12. All right, so what we're going to do now is set a public hearing. Your neighbors will be notified, and that will be at our next meeting in 2 weeks at 7:35. And your neighbors will be notified by the town, so you don't have to do anything. Just be here, and we'll
That's
discuss
May
it.
20th,
May 20,
Wednesday, May 20th.
7:30. Okay.
Great.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next case on the agenda is Robert Duffy. It's an appeal for a zoning determination, or it should be interpretation of a zoning determination, correct?
Correct.
All right, well, you've been here before, you know what to do.
Sure. Good evening, my name is Jennifer Van Tile. This is an appeal that's really an appeal of zoning interpretation. We are appealing a zoning compliance determination that was made by the zoning administrator, zoning enforcement officer, ruling, in which he ruled that the property next door to my client's property had a proposed use that was a country inn type 1. And it's our assertion that that was an error, that in fact the proposed use does not fall within those limits under the zoning laws. So that's the basis of our appeal, and we've cited a number of authorities. So this is different than your usual appeal. A variance is an interpretation, but still requires a a public hearing. Notably, an interpretation is a type 2 action under seeker, so it's not necessary that other than affirming that fact, that any seeker compliance be done. And I do note that we did serve a copy of this application on our neighbors, so they're aware of it.
Okay. Yes, I'm aware that they're aware. In fact, we have a videographer here tonight to record this on their behalf. There was some discussion, and Brendan, you can bring the board up to date regarding fees. I mean, clearly, we're going to have to engage the town attorney for this interpretation.
I would expect so, and we paid the minimum fee, but we're perfectly aware that the board has the right to set further escrow fees.
Okay. There was some communication back and forth between the ZEO and the town attorney. Could you bring us up to date with
Yes,
what that was?
his latest sense as of this afternoon.
He being John Lyons, right?
Is that it will be the town that defends the suit, or whatever you say. I don't know what you say. It sounds too legal. And that the town will bear the costs, but he asked for permission to look into it further. You're looking puzzled. So that's... But I mean,
Well,
suit,
no,
not suit.
this
I don't know
is
what you
just an
say.
appeal of an
The
interpretation.
appeal.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm trying to
It's
sound like really lawyerly.
Nothing unfriendly.
Right, right.
Okay, but to that the town will bear the cost of that.
Right, there will be billable hours for the attorney, obviously, and it's not a suit, but he does need to do some work on our behalf, and it will be the town that's obligated to pay for that. So that's
That's what he's saying, but he would like authorization to confirm that with research.
Okay.
And I certainly consent. Obviously, on the record, I'm saying that if the town determines that there are escrow fees that are due and payable for
Sure, I can let you know.
consultant fees, we will deposit them. We did
Okay.
deposit the $500
$500,
or
I
whatever
think.
is the minimum amount, but I said in my letter that we would post any additional fees.
All right, so by our next meeting, we should have the answers to these questions.
Yes, the
And,
board just needs to decide if they want to authorize him to do that. That's all. He's just
To look
asking for
into it.
permission
Oh.
to look into just the matter of who pays. And then, of course, you'll have to decide whether you want him to look into everything further on your behalf.
All right, so I suppose we should have a motion you're saying for John Lyons to look into this matter about who ends up paying. So I'll move that we have John look into it and report back to the board at some point before our next meeting. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So please notify John to that effect.
Okay?
And with respect to the matter of the public hearing, I will just note, I do have an actual engagement on May 20th to make a presentation to the Town of Poughkeepsie Town Board relating to a rezoning application. I will comply with whatever the board's practice is, and if it's necessary for me to cancel that appearance, I will. But it would be fine with me if the board schedules this for one of its meetings in June, and perhaps that would allow a little more time for your attorney to look into
Exactly.
that matter.
My sense is,
I'm
since
not
we're
trying to
struggling a little
rush you
bit
here.
with the
Sure.
procedure, that if we could hold off until the
Sure.
June meeting, it would be better for everybody.
There's one June 3rd and then one June 17th.
And whichever is preferable to the board is fine with me. I'm not trying to rush you, and I want you to feel comfortable that you've had the advice that you
Well,
want.
then what we'll do is we'll gather the information we need to from the attorneys, and we'll discuss it again at our next meeting.
Fine.
And at that time, hopefully, we can set a public hearing for June 3rd or 4th, did you say?
3rd or
Third.
17th.
If not 17th, but we'll
Either
notify
one would
you
be
either way.
fine, and I will have someone from my office here at the next meeting just to be present to hear what you say, but...
That'd be helpful, because we may have some more questions.
Okay,
All right.
fine. All right, thank you very
Great.
much.
Thank you.
So, Michael, you don't want at this time to make a motion to have him actually look at the appeal? I had him only cursorily look at it and told him,
I don't think we can do that until we know procedurally. I mean,
Excuse me, what was the question?
The question was whether or not to have the board also make a motion to have John actually sort of start plowing through the appeal.
Well,
I'll leave that up to you.
Well, how does the board feel about it?
My sense is we're going to need John. We're going to want to have his advice and counsel.
So we might as well make the decision now.
That's fine by me. The other thing is by engaging him sooner, we have a better idea of when he'll be prepared to see whether it's going to be June 3rd or June 17th, see what his schedule's like.
Would you like to make a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion that we engage John Lyons to review this matter.
All right, do I hear a second?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That's good, it'll help expedite it.
Fine.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is Stephen Hall.
I
Yes.
think we still have to do a signature on this.
Well,
Probably 31.
type 2 is what she said.
Well, we can wait for that, because I suppose we'll have John take it.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Jeremy Kozin from the law firm of Zarin and Steinmetz, representing Stephen Hull. This is an application for a single-family residence, as well as the refurbishment of an existing, presumably decades, if not century-old shed on an undeveloped parcel of property in the town of Rhinebeck. I believe it's technically does not have a mailing address yet. It's on Round Lake Road at the intersection of Beecham Road. It's a 27.6 acre property. We previously were before the planning board to consolidate 2 tax lots. That approval was granted in February. And now we're here to legalize the accessory shed structure that is closer to the fronting street, Round Lake Road, than
Right.
the principal structure.
Gotcha.
As you can see from the maps, this is a very large property, and the shed is basically almost within the setback. Stephen Hull is an architect himself, as you may have researched on your own. He is very eager to be a member of the Rhinebeck community, and this project, or this house, is going to be situated significantly back from the accessory shed structure. Just to cover a couple other bases, there are no wetlands on the property, there are no floodplains on the property. The plans that Brennan kindly gave out to you today are necessary because since the time of the application, which was April 27th, the architect, who is also Stephen Hull, downsized the project slightly. This is a residence for himself, and he decided he wanted to change it. It was about 2,000, I believe, gross square feet, and now it's closer to about 1,000. It's 918. The accessory structure, and the zoning enforcement officer confirmed this with me today, is less than the principal structure. The shed is about 782 square feet once refurbished, and there is also a 52 square foot well house, which we're not altering, but is also technically deemed an accessory structure. I can go through the 5 factors and why we believe the variance is necessary, but we might want to save that for the public hearing.
Yeah, we can save that for the public hearing. Tonight, we're just making sure that we have enough paperwork and everything's complete so that we can proceed to the public hearing. And it certainly looks like it's thorough. Lots of information here. Does the board have any questions? Yes,
I have a
Jeff?
question. So right now, we have 2 drawing sets. One is dated April 23rd, and the other one is dated May 6th, so I assume we should just discard the April 23rd drawing set?
This actually came up with the zoning enforcement officer today. I believe there are pages within the April submission that are not within the the May 6th submission, because the May 6th submission only includes changes to the site plan and changes to the architectural drawings associated with the primary residence, whereas the April 27th submission has also elevations and drawings relating to the shed.
I see.
So the shed is staying the same as it was in the April submission, but the primary residence is changing as evidenced in the May 6th.
So the drawings are all named, we should just go through and rip out any ones that are updated in the new
Right.
submission. Okay.
That would be ideal.
Okay. Any other questions? What do you think this is in terms of seeker? Have you made a determination on that? Pull back to 12.
Yeah.
We'll go with 12. C12. Okay. Anything else you need to tell the board?
I think that's it, unless you have any other questions.
No, I think it looks good. I'm sorry, though, what was your name again?
Jeremy, J-E-R-E-M-Y, Kozin, K-O-Z-I-N.
Okay. And we have the paperwork for Jeremy to represent them. Great. All right. Then I think we can proceed to a public hearing. Do I hear a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Great. So we'll set this up for June 3rd, and this would be for 7:40, Brennan?
Is it June
3rd or May? No, May.
May 20th.
Hold on. May,
Oh, my apology. You're
that's all
right.
right. May 20th at 7:40.
Yes. So we'll see you then. Thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, next case is case 890, Ahmed Mansour. Represented by Warren Temple Smith.
Smith Architect, nice to see you all again.
So,
Concerns a single-family residence at 4 South Hinterlands Drive on Berger Road. The house is on a lot that became non-conforming by virtue of zoning change to the RC5 district. So when it was developed, it was perfectly conforming. Now it's not. And so as a result, not only is the lot smaller than it would be under the RC5 zoning, but setbacks also don't comply with the updated zoning. So almost anything that's done there is going to trigger need for area variances.
right,
In this particular case, what the owners wish to do is remove a screen porch and deck and patio on the west side of the one-story addition, roughly the same square footage as those elements. But that triggers, again, a need for side yard variance, and because the house is already too close to the road for the current zoning, we need for front yard variance. We also determined that one front yard variance wasn't enough. We need one for the existing residence and another one for the addition, because the addition will also be within the new front setback, although not as close as the front of the house. Additionally, we need to go to the planning board if we get approval from the zoning board, because behind that house there is a drainage course that's considered a wetland, and so the house is already within that 100-foot buffer. So even though we're not doing anything to get any closer to the drainage course, anything that's within the wetland buffer.
so that's what's labeled on the map as a stream. It's
That's right. It's
actually-
really not a stream. It's
Yeah.
intermittently wet, and right now it's not particularly wet. So.
Okay.
And again, as the zoning officer reviewed the project, he found that, of course, because it's a 1.5 acre lot of use as opposed to the required 5 acres, that the lot coverage threshold is exceeded. What would be 7% on a 5 acre lot, obviously much larger than that on a 1.5 acre lot.
Right.
So there are a total of 5 variances that the CEO feels we need. The 2 front yard variances I cited, the side yard variance, the lot size reduction, because it's 1.5 and a 5 acre zone. I'm not sure as an existing non-conforming lot that that's really correct, but that's his interpretation, so we'll ask for that. And then the lot coverage increased because, again, 1.5 acres in a 5 acre zone. So that's the substance of the application.
Okay. The lot size reduction and the lot coverage wasn't on this.
They were on there because when I prepared that, I of course didn't have this determination letter, which I received today. Okay, but I can give you.
So just add them.
This week, the agenda, the applications, and the denial
So
letters.
this
The
letter-
denial letter rules, but it only came to me this week.
I see. Okay.
I'm sorry, it's in so
It's
much
helpful, I
of
have a little summary of the various variances there, which would update the information on the actual application.
It's good. We do need to update the application so we know
Just add the two.
Wow and everything.
I can make a new cover page if you want, and I may need to do it for a couple of these, that the letter was done with.
That would be perfect.
And then just send it, and you guys can just state it right on.
Okay. All right, well, that satisfies my concern. Anybody else have any questions? Do I hear a motion to accept?
So moved. C12,
C12? Okay,
that covers the first couple of ones.
all right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So we will go ahead and schedule a public hearing for our next meeting at 7:45.
Thank you.
Great, thank
Thanks,
you.
Warren.
The next case is case number 891, Howard Gold, Josephine Wang. Oh, it's you. Okay.
This is a somewhat similar application, an existing residence, in this case, is 4 Cricket Lane, which is a cul-de-sac off of Primrose Hill Road. And at the time that the lot was developed, the whole subdivision was created and the house was built, it was in conformance with the zoning in effect at the time, now also in the RC5 district. It's a larger lot than the last one we discussed. It's 3.6 acres, but it's still a 5-acre zone. So we need that, the variance for lot size reduction. Additionally, we're proposing a very modest change to the front of the house. There is an existing covered porch that sits sort of closed between 2 slightly projecting wings. The intent is to enclose part of that covered porch to modestly extend some areas in the first part of the house and then build a new front porch in front of that, in front of the house. But that new front porch will extend closer to the road and closer to the lot line than the existing porch and the existing front of the house. So we know that we will need a front yard setback reduction. The original front setback wouldn't be a problem because it's now RC5 and 100 foot is required. We're proposing a 68-foot distance from the lot line to the new front porch, so we'll need a variance of 32 feet. We measured it as 70 feet. Ron came up with 68, so we'll request a 68. And there's a side yard setback, which actually isn't occasioned by anything we're proposing to do with the house, but when the house was built, the side yard requirement was 35 feet. Where the house is actually located, person with a recent survey, is 31 feet. So in order to allow the house to remain where it is and be in compliance, we need to request a setback, side yard setback variance to accommodate that distance, which now, of course, is increased from 35 to 50 feet. But regardless, we need a side yard variance, which is now
Well, unless
19
we
feet.
decide to make you move the house.
Well, that's the other option, but my guess is the owner's probably kind of cut and run.
Yeah. Now, what did you say the acreage was on this parcel?
It's 3.6 acres.
3.6. All right. And the board will note we have to change the application from 70 feet to 68 feet.
Yep.
Any other questions? Any other comments?
No, but I have a similar summary here of the variance.
Well, it looks complete to me. What do we have in terms of seeker, guys?
C12 is the setback.
C12. I should know that by now without having to ask. All right. So do I hear a motion to accept?
So moved.
Yep.
A second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? So we'll see you in 2 weeks on this one as well.
Yep.
And that will be 7:50. Okay, so I believe that wipes out our new business, and now we can move on to public hearings. First one is Goodmoat, case 886. Will the secretary please read the notice?
Please take notice that the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Town of Rhinebeck will hold a public hearing pursuant to Section 267 of the Town Law and the application of Goodmoat, Patricia, and Douglas area variances, case 886. Owner is seeking area variances to construct a kitchen addition on his principal dwelling located at 466 Schultz Hill Road, Rhinebeck, New York, 12572. Variances requested are as follows. 1. Permit non-conforming lot size of .441 acres in existing 5-acre zone, RC5. 2. Front yard setback variance of 85 feet. Existing house is currently 15 feet from front line where 100 is required. 3. Side yard setback variance of 43 feet. The proposed addition to the house is situated 10 feet from the side yard line, and the existing house is currently 7 feet from the side, where 50 feet is required. 4, proposed increase in the maximum lot coverage that is allowed from 7% required to approximately 18% proposed. RC5 zone, grid, whatever. Said hearing will be held on the 6th day of May, 2015 at 7:35 in the Town Hall, 80 East Market Street, Rhinebeck, New York, 12572. The Zoning Board of Appeals at said time and place will hear all persons or their agents in support of this matter or any objections thereto. By order of the ZBA, Brennan Carney, Clerk.
Thank you. So, would you like to just step forward and, oh, over here. I was waiting for somebody to make a move. I wasn't sure I should be talking to here. Yeah, if you'd just like to address the board and basically tell us what you said last time you were here in terms of what you're requesting and why you're not able to conform with the law.
Sure. My name is Rich Rock. Good evening. You heard the report. We need multiple variances for non-conforming lot setbacks, area coverage. We're proposing a very modest 272 square foot kitchen and bathroom addition. This is intended to better the quality and life and safety and to facilitate the ease of use and accessibility in the future. The current program, the current floor plan really struggles to support life and events like holiday dinners and things like that. It's becoming difficult in this house, which was once successful.
Sure.
The family's dynamic is changing. The addition will have little to no impact on the neighbors as it's completely, well, it's out of plain sight from most neighbors and it's out of plain sight from the road. The addition we're proposing will fit the context of the neighborhood as well as fit the context of the existing building in terms of exterior cladding, style, scale. The new addition, of course, will be in accordance with all local and national energy construction codes, the Town of Rhinebeck code. We're here because, and we are also looking for planning for a special use permit because of our proximity to Crum Elbow Creek. So it's in terms of the scope of this is a very, I don't want to say insignificant, extremely modest thing we're asking for. In terms
Well, it's a very common request for a variance because of the way the law has changed over the years. You've got less than half an acre, but you're in the R5 zone. We're very aware that there's no way you can meet the setback requirements of an R5A zone with a half an acre. So it's not an uncommon request, but it's something that we have to review and do it according to the zoning law. What you're planning to add to the house is actually no closer to the side yard than the existing house. We're aware of that. Is there anybody here who is a neighbor who would be impacted by this addition or any of the work? Is there someone here to comment from the public? Does the board have any questions regarding this? As I say, it's a very straightforward request. It's the type of thing we deal with all the time. No questions at all?
No.
It's very clear what you're asking for. So if there are no comments or questions, what we'll do is we'll just close the public hearing.
We would love to conclude this portion of the zoning if that's possible tonight.
Well, we're not able to vote on it tonight.
Okay.
The way the procedure works is that after we've had a public hearing, sometimes they are controversial, and there are people here that for one reason or another, will not support the request, but as I see, there's no one here. Did we receive any letters from neighbors?
Not a bit.
Okay, so it doesn't seem to be a controversial case. The board will go out and take a look at the property. We'll write up a legal document, which we will then vote on, most likely at our next meeting. However, we do by law have 61 days to finalize this, but I'm sure we'll handle it much quicker than that.
That'd be appreciated.
Is there a contact number? Because we will be going out just to check out the location. Is there someplace we ought to call just to let you know we're coming out?
Yes.
What's the number?
518-263-6000. That's my line. My name is Rich.
Any time better than others? Or do you have any problem with this just going out there?
Well, it's pretty close to the road. I think we can probably...
You probably can see it from the road.
Yeah, drive by and take a look at, you want to see the kind of screening that's around it, how it would be blocked from other neighbors. You mentioned the proximity to the creek. You might want to take a look at that. But we'll do an inspection and most likely have a document prepared for the next meeting. So,
Fantastic.
all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
By the way, do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Okay, I'll second it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you. We'll notify you by mail. All right, next public hearing is Nadine Aruz, case number 885. Brennan, if you please read the announcement.
Please take notice that the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Town of Rhinebeck will hold a public hearing pursuant to Section 267 of the Town Law on the application of Aruz Nadim area variances, case 885. Owner is seeking area variances to allow for the construction of a garage on his property at 601 Ackerhook Road, Rhinebeck, New York, 12572. Variance requested are as follows. 1. No accessory structure shall project closer to the fronting street than the principal dwelling. The proposed garage projects closer to the road than the dwelling. Variance required of 21 feet 2 inches closer to the road than principal. 2. No such accessory structure shall exceed 20 feet in height in any residential district with the proposed dormer and storage area majority of roof line. This garage has an overall roof height of 24 feet 8 inches. Max allowed is 20 feet, 4 foot, 8 inch variance required. 3, accessory structures shall in the aggregate comprise not more floor area than either the principal building, 1,420 square feet on a lot, or 1,500 square feet, whichever is more restrictive. These accessory structures appear to be equivalent to 2,396 square feet, variance required, RC5 zone, grid, blah. Said hearing will be held on the 6th day of May, 2015 at 7:40 in the Town Hall, 80 East Market Street, Rhinebeck, New York, 12572. The Zoning Board of Appeals at said time and place will hear all persons or their agents in support of this matter or any objections thereto by order of the ZBA, Brennan Carney Clerk.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Aruz, if you'd like to address the board and...
Mr. Aruz's representative, Charles Peterson.
I guess we should write that down. Charles, would you like to...
Peterson, P-E-T-E-R-S-H-U-I-M, and the owner of Cartier Farms, design building.
Okay, great. All right, I guess you should just put in your own words what you're doing for the record. And
I had a really poetic presentation, but I left it on my desk 2 hours away, so...
we prefer prose, actually.
It was free verse.
Yeah.
So what we have is a garage, and we thought our main issue was frontage, and that was really a factor of the topography. It's the slope, the grade sloped away so quickly that you could not build a house without coming up with this huge foundation that was working against what we were trying to do. So we had, and then also the road kind of slips away from the house. And so we thought we had a frontage issue. And I'm not even sure if the garage is able to be built within the variance just because of the topography of the land without significant cost, which would far outweigh the benefit of the, because it's not a gradual slope, it's one of those. So we're 21 feet closer to the road. So if it impacts anybody, it probably impacts his own house most negatively, because it's kind of blocking his house from the road because the road's kind of twisting up, and so from the neighborhood impact, probably impacts him. However, the barn slash garage will be in the same vernacular as the house, which is, it's a decent looking house in the Rhinebeck vernacular, or the country house vernacular, so I don't expect it to be a offensive structure in any way. In fact, I think it'll probably be pretty complimentary to the neat Acronym Road stuff they have going on over there. Now the size of the structure, and then you have the height. Both the height and the square footage makes it seem like a big structure. I think that's an interpretation that makes it seem a lot bigger than it is. If it wouldn't have the dormer kicking out in the back, it would be, and we wouldn't be including that in the averages, it would be under 20 feet. I don't know what he, obviously if he's putting a dormer in the back, he may propose to build that out in the future, so I think it's a relevant question to be answered at some point. That, but right now, without that dormer, we would be under. So it's not like some huge structure. A typical house is 28 feet high or 30 feet high. This is 24 feet, and that's including the dormer. So it's not some monstrosity of a barn going up. And the square footage is an interpretation of floor area. He has a garage. It would be a slab, and then a second floor storage area for now. I've never heard of storage area being counted as square footages, but again, if you add them up together, the garage concrete in the second floor storage area, which in the future I guess could be converted. I don't know if he would need to come back if he would convert it, or crossing this bridge now prevents that exercise in the future.
No, he could come back for a conversion variance later. But that's a very tall roof because it's like a 12 pitch, is it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right, and that's how you get your, authenticity of vernacular is by, a nice steep roof pitch.
Well, but it also sets you up with the headroom you need for later making it into a usable space.
If we had a 4-pitch, 6-pitch, we wouldn't need the dormer, and hence probably wouldn't even have the issue. But it would be a not as nice looking building at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there anyone here for this case? Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Doug Lacknell, and I live in Akron for over 58 years, and I'm the student member of that. So number one, he's 21 feet closer to the road than he's a variance for that. I have no problem with that. If you guys, have you driven by there yet? There's 3 barns, one on 584 that's probably 30 feet off the road. What's it supposed to be now, 75 feet? There's a garage right across the neighbor's house that's only 20 feet, and right across from my house in 684, there's a white barn that's like, again, 30 feet. It's a huge barn. So being not close to the road, in my opinion, is not a problem.
So you're saying it's not out of character for the neighborhood?
So on the second one here, I never saw a drawing. Could I see something, what you guys are talking about? I don't know
Yes.
what that means.
This is the structure they're proposing.
That's the front. And this is what makes it so hot. That's not the peak of the roof, which is...
It's an average of this height. It's an average of all the heights. So it's this and this.
So this is obviously all garage down below, maybe 8-foot, 9-foot ceilings or such?
10 foot.
Okay, and then how much space you got? Is there 8-foot ceilings up there then?
Well, probably on the edges here, you only have 3 or... Until you get into 5-foot height, I can show you a floor plan.
So that could be in the future with our bonus room, what have
I would guess that's why he's putting the dormer back in there for the future.
All right, well, again, I have no problem on that either.
And that faces the back.
I'm not giving you a hard time, I just want to understand.
I can answer the
Yeah,
question.
and then-
It faces the rear.
And I don't understand the third one, with the third variance. The square footage of the whole thing is almost 2,400 square feet?
Well,
And why is that a problem? I don't understand why that's a problem
it's just zoning. They don't like anything over 1,500 square feet. They like to get approval, so somebody's not building something that's totally out of character or oversized for the neighborhood. This isn't oversized for the neighborhood. It's kind of a big garage, but it's not smaller. It's much smaller than the house.
It's a 3-bay garage.
It's a 3K. He has big plans, but it's good.
Okay, so I'm for the whole thing.
Okay.
Lagno, LAG.
LAGNO. He's a good guy.
So I guess it's a little bit bigger than your average garage, but they come a lot bigger, and it should be complementary to the neighborhood.
All right, well, very good. Any other comments from the public? Any questions? Does the board have any comments or questions? All right. Well, in that case, do I hear a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? So we'll go out, take a look at it, and we'll assign some findings, we'll write it up, and we'll take a vote on it.
Can we see this from the road?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we're not, is it staked out where it's going to be?
Well, you'll see the house, I don't know if there's a survey here. So you'll come up after, probably from this way, and then you'll see this white house here.
Okay.
It's not staked out, you can kind of visualize it. It's just, if you're facing the front of the house, it's to the left.
Right.
You can see how the road kind of bends away. If the road would be straight, it probably wouldn't be an issue, but it's got some just inherent things working against it from a zoom perspective.
Thank you very much. Moving along to case number 884, Suzanne Welker. Thank you. Is a representative here for Suzanne Welker?
I don't see him there.
I don't either.
I mean, he's not here.
But I'm here in opposition. Well, we did get a notice
Yes,
about the swimming pool.
yes.
She did email me her cell phone number. Do you want me to go down and get it? I didn't think to bring it up.
Well, we have some other things to discuss, I guess, that we could... Why don't you do that? Why don't you call her? Maybe she just forgot. If she's here local, it would only
No, I
take
know
her...
she's not here. She just gave me a cell phone in case questions came up. But
I remember you being in here before, and I know your property backs right up on theirs. Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, okay. Well, we can't open the public hearing without them having a representative, so I hope you haven't wasted your time being here tonight. Although it is pretty fascinating, you got to admit.
She asked me if she needed to be here, and I said no, but I thought, in all my conversations with Matt, he was going to be here. Her contractor who looks after the place.
Oh.
Well, I guess what we typically do is an open hearing, put it on the agenda for next week, right?
Yeah, I don't think we can hold people here while we wait for somebody to show up, so why don't we just reschedule, and we will call you again if this gets rescheduled for 2 weeks from tonight.
It's got a letter certified.
Yes.
Just as long as they don't cut any trees or do any blasting in the interim.
Well, no, they're not allowed to do anything until they get their approvals. They have.
Yeah.
You know, I can see that property from the bridge approach, and I noticed that they had a small excavator there. So they have started doing something.
No permits.
Right. So we should probably...
I'm writing down my phone number at the office. Can you call me tomorrow and give me the details, and we'll see what we need to do about what you're describing? Is that okay? Sure. Okay.
Sorry to drag you out. If I had realized they weren't here, I could have let you go earlier.
Communication with me, but she was asking whether she should come from Long Island, and I said, no, you don't need to, Matt. You know, if he wants to call you on your cell phone. Anyway.
Well, it should be clear that they have to have a representative here for a public hearing.
Yeah.
It was pretty clear the last time around.
What about the trees, if they're taking trees down?
You have to put it back.
Yeah, I mean, there's no
The
putting them
trees
back.
and the stumps are all on our property now. They knocked the fence down that separated the two parcels.
This is me. Okay, that's my number.
Well, we'll make sure the CEO is aware of that, and if they're doing anything that they're not supposed to be doing without a
When
permit...
you start doing it, if we go out in the back, they run away.
I see. All right. Well, thank you for coming. Sorry it was...
Blasting, it's not going to affect my aquifer, my well, because there's huge boulders in the back. So they're going to have to do something in order to put an in-ground pool.
Right.
Because there's set requirements for the depth of that pool.
Well, let's not talk about this case without them here to defend themselves, but we'll reschedule and you'll be notified so you can come back and express your concerns.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Shall we schedule it for 2 weeks and then I'll just email them to confirm?
Well, I think so.
Okay.
No reason to delay it. Good night.
Now, and do I have to renotice them?
I think you can just call them. You don't need to send out a
Will you
certified
open
letter.
the public hearing and we're going to continue?
No.
We can't open it.
We're going to postpone it. We did not open it.
So just notify me.
Yeah.
I think maybe just to be safe, just do another notification.
Yeah.
Just to be safe.
Okay.
We should make
Someone who has concerns, and we have a construction that may or may not have started without a permit.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're going to be 7:50.
All right, so we're now moving along to old business, and the only old business I can think of is assigning findings for the 2 public hearings we had tonight. So, do we have any volunteers for Goodmote?
I'll take it.
Okay. And case 885, Nadim. Any volunteers, or should I take this?
Thank you, Michael.
Leading by example.
I'll take it. Well,
I've been lost track.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you want to take it, that's fine. Seems like a pretty straightforward thing. Anything else we need to discuss about these? It seems as though they're both non-controversial and kind of straightforward, what we're used to dealing with.
Go visit the properties, but write your name.
Yes, I would say so. Okay. Any other comments or questions or concerns? Regarding Duffy, is there anything we should discuss before we leave? We're waiting for legal input, and probably not much to discuss until we get that.
Yes, I sent it, but I sent it like this morning.
Really? Was this morning?
I sent you a draft.
Oh, a draft, yeah.
And then I.
Did you get some comments back
Not yet.
on the draft? Not yet?
Oh, no, I got comments back on the draft, and I sent it out to Elizabeth and Bruce. Do you want me to send it to all the other members of the board?
Let's start the conversation
Town
with
board.
Elizabeth and let her present it to the town board. Yeah, of course, Bruce.
Yes, I sent it to him as well. I copied all of you on the final that went out.
All right, what am I forgetting? It seems too simple. Are we done here? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. That was
That
much
wasn't
quicker
as
than
bad as I
thought.
thought.